First Class Convo, take one. Hey guys, welcome back to First Class Convo. I am Cindy and I have a guest here with me, Kim Burrell. Kim, say hey to the people.
Hello everyone.
I am so excited to have Kim here with me, and she was actually last minute. I called her a couple days ago and I was like, I think you'll be an awesome guest on First Class Convo. And we're stopping because I forgot to turn on my ring light.
Okay. Oh, you gotta do it all over?
Nope, we're going right there when I say and we're stopping, we're going to pick right back up right there.
Okay.
All right, guys, so you know me, I'm always forgetting to do something. So I forgot to turn on my ring light. It's like me to always forget, but I'm not a professional, so y'all be kind to me, okay? Show me some grace, if you will.
It's all good.
Thank you, Kim. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So, guys, I have with me the newly Mrs. Kim Burrell. She was Kim Jackson. She's no longer Kimberly Jackson. She is now Kim Burrell. Not to be mistaken for the singer,
No.
Kim Burrell. So, Kim, if you will, can you introduce yourself to the people?
Yes, well, like she said, I am Kimberly Burrell now. Born and raised on the south side of Chicago.
Chi-town.
Been here in San Antonio for 13 years now. I have been a teacher for almost 20 years.
Oh my goodness.
And I have 5 boys.
Wait a minute. Rewind. A couple things. You've been a teacher for almost 20 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, I don't think I knew that. I knew that you were a teacher, but I had no clue that it had been that long.
Yep, almost 20 years.
Wow. And you have 5 boys?
5 beautiful boys.
Ranging from what age?
My oldest just turned 21.
Okay.
Then I have twins that are 19.
Oh, wow. A set of twins. Amazing.
And then I have a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old.
Oh, wow. That is so awesome. And might I add, she has some very nice, mannerable young men.
Oh, yeah.
I was taking a look at them at the wedding, and I pretty much almost started crying because I was just in awe of how mannerable they are, and you know, were on their best behavior. Not like they wouldn't have been, but they're young black men, and so sometimes we have the perception to label them or stereotype them to be a certain way, but not Kim's young men. They are some awesome young men. So yeah. I want to commend you on being awesome single mom, because I know that you were married for a period of time, but there were also some periods of times too where you were single. So I want to commend you on doing a job well done on being a single mom.
Thank you. It took a lot of work and a lot of discipline, and definitely, unfortunately, had to take them getting out of Chicago for them to get a different environment. But I don't regret anything.
Awesome. That's good. I definitely understand what you mean when it comes to that, because sometimes we do have to leave where we're from. Yeah. If we want something better for our children. So good job, Mama.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, let me give you one too. So yeah, I'm going to give you guys a little background of how Kim and I met. It actually just only started out as I was her stylist and she was my customer. But we soon realized that it was more to us than just being a business transaction, if you will. We became really good friends. We did a lot of stuff together. We did some stuff together we shouldn't have done together. But thank God for Jesus, okay? But yeah, we really had some good times together, celebrating one another, and all type of stuff we would do together. So thank you for being my friend through the years.
Thank you, because you got me through some tough moments.
Oh, well, that's what friends are for, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's definitely what friends are for. And you know what? If I had to do all over again, I would.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So, Kim recently got married in September, and she has an awesome husband, a really good man, and I really commend her for being patient and waiting for God to send her somebody. I know what it's like to be impatient because been there, done that, put myself in some bad situations. But thank God that He sent you your good thing, if you will.
My Superman.
Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome to even give him that title. So Kim, tell us, what was the experience like, first of all, going from being such a single, strong, independent woman to now now you're evenly yoked with this man of God. I mean, because he is definitely a man of God. He's a musician. I can't even talk right. My tongue tying all up. But he's a musician. I still can't talk right. At his church. And he loves the Lord. Yes. Like, we're friends on Facebook, and I see from time to time the different things that he posts. And I was like, all right, Kim, she did a real good thing this time. Real good thing this time. So tell us, what was that like, going from being this strong, single, independent woman to now you got to take a step back and let somebody else lead you? What was that like?
What is it like?
Yeah, because you're still in that journey, right? You'll probably be in that journey till the day when somebody leaves this earth.
Because it can have its challenges, definitely. That's because I don't have a lot of men in my family. So we grew up being raised by strong black women who say, like, hey, you don't ask nobody to do anything for you. You need to do it yourself, and you need to know how to fend for yourself and do everything. So by me being raised that way, it's hard to give that power to someone. And sometimes I do find myself overpowering him. But then sometimes I have to, like, okay, shut up. He doesn't have to do it that way. He doesn't have to do it the way that you say doing it.
That's right.
So it's a learning process.
Absolutely.
But I never take that away from him of being the man of my house.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that, because sometimes, so I learned this a very long time ago when I first pretty much moved here to San Antonio. I learned the church that I was going to, the pastor called his wife up and 2 of his kids up, and there was 4 of them standing up there. And so it was the husband, the wife, and the 2 kids. And he basically did this analogy that that's a complete family. But he was like, well, what happens when the husband leaves the picture? Do one of the kids step into the father role, or does the wife move herself to that role? And I said all of that to say that I think that's what we've had to do in the past, because we didn't know any better. Yeah. We didn't know to leave that position open for a man and allow that man come in and take that place. Yeah. But now when we know better, right, we do better. Yeah. I think, but it can be because you're so strong-willed too. And if we just downright honest, we can be stubborn sometimes.
That is true.
And so, but we have to realize what our place is. The man isn't trying to rule you or make you be. We are supposed to be submissive, but we don't want. But in our mind, we feel like, oh, you trying to be my God. Well, in a sense, he really is, as long as he's allowing God to govern over him. You know what I'm saying? So I think that sometimes we as independent, strong women can allow that to be the case. So give me an example of, where you had to be like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and step back into my place and be the wife and not try to go toe to toe with my husband. And if you can't think of anything right off the bat, that's fine.
I mean, even I think one of our biggest challenges is driving in the car. We have our most debates because it's not really arguments in the car, because I want to lead in the car. And especially if he's driving my car, I'm like, but don't drive it that way. So even today, when we drive and, I have to sit back sometimes like,
okay, let me be on my phone. Let me play this game.
And so, and we have come across those a couple of times where I'm like, Kim, be quiet. Because even like some of the household chores, for him, he has an advantage, so to say, because I raised boys. And my grandmother raised me, and she was always one of those, you cook for your family, you wash clothes for your family, you clean up the house for your family. Okay. So by me having a house full of boys, I always took that lead in my house. Okay. And so by him, he doesn't have any kids.
Oh, really?
He has no kids.
No children at all?
No.
So he came to the relationship with no children.
He married 6 people.
Huh? Yeah, you and the 5 boys, right? Okay.
He married 6 people. Because, I mean, even though I only have 1 in the house with me now, he's still, like, they still a part of me. And so sometimes He has to accept when they come in the house. He doesn't have a quiet house anymore. You know, so he has kids running up and down the stairs or playing the games or friends coming over. And for him, it's like, ugh.
Yeah, because he's definitely not
You know,
used
but
to
I'm
it.
like, hey, you know, this is what you asked for a family.
Yeah.
So this is what all comes with it.
Yeah. So he had a ready-made family just waiting on him to come in and be daddy, huh?
Yeah, but he, you know, he gets, and he would say, he gets very comfortable because I cook, you know, I clean, I do all, like, not say womanly duties, but that's how I was raised.
Okay.
And I had boys, so I always did those things for them. And so when he tries to do it, I was always nitpicking on things he didn't do right. And so he stepped back and like, well, I'm not doing it. But then I got frustrated because I'm like, I'm always doing everything around the house. But he's like, well, if I'm going to do it, let me do it then.
Wow. How did that make you feel, Kim?
I was like, but you know what? I had to, you know, I always say God gave me a blessing to give me 5 boys because, like I said, we had a dominant family of all women. And my mom was rough on guys, like as far as, you know, real, in all honesty, being disrespectful to them, verbally being disrespectful to them. And so that's what I learned, even though I was not so much say I did it in my first marriage. Yeah, I was, you know, foul at the mouth.
So you can see what part you played.
Yeah, but when I had my boys, and the relationship that me and my boys have, we have a really tight relationship. And so when my son told me, he was like, Ma, you ain't have to say it like that. That was kind of mean.
Wow.
And I'm like,
I know what that feeling is like.
you know, so I'm like, how am I supposed to show them, like, this is how a woman's supposed to treat a man if I'm treating y'all disrespectful?
Now that's good, Kim.
You know,
That's
so
really good.
I think that God gave me all these boys. It's like, you're going to learn how to respect a man.
Because you didn't learn when you were a child. So God gave you boys so you could learn.
Yeah.
Wow,
Because he's like, are you either going to destroy them or are you going to build them up?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not going to destroy them.
That's right. Because the world already does that enough.
Yeah.
The world already is doing its due diligence to destroy our black men.
Yeah.
So that's why it's our job to build them up. So yeah, girl, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. What is the boys' relationship like with your husband?
Just for the simple fact, everybody's older. So for my older 3 boys, their dad is not present at all in their lives. And so for the youngest 2, their dad is here. We moved here together. So their dad is, they living with their dad. Because they wanted to go to school over there where he's at. And, you know, it was a point that was really hard for me.
I bet it was because those are the babies.
I cried about it. But, you know, I had to step back and say, you know, I did my part.
Yeah.
And now they're young men. And it's some things I can't teach them.
Ooh, girl, that's true.
You know, it's a lot of single moms that be like, I was mama and a daddy. But no, I was never your daddy.
Ooh, say that again.
I was always your mom.
That's
I
right.
just loved you as much as I could and taught you as much as I could, but I could never teach you how to be a man.
That's it.
So they have their dad, but they respect him as a man.
Good.
And it's not so much that they have to call him stepdad or anything like that. But respect him as a man. He's a role model.
Yeah.
You know, they see him going to church. They see him getting up and going to work every day. They see him opening up the door for me. They see him coming and bringing me flowers or buying me gifts. And he tells them, this is how you're supposed to treat a woman.
That's
and
awesome.
so they give him the utmost respect. And they have a pretty good relationship. He has a relationship with all of them. We have a little family group that we all send messages like throughout the week to see how everybody's doing. But he also reaches out to them on a personal, like, hey, you good? You know, you need anything? Are you okay? You know, so he has a pretty good relationship with them.
That's awesome. Especially coming from a man who doesn't have kids at all. None of his own blood kids. Well, he does now.
Yeah.
He has 5 now. But that's really big because I've noticed, and I personally, I said this in the past, I don't know how I feel about it now, but I personally don't know if I would want to date somebody who didn't have any kids, especially if they were selfish. if you can't understand like what my relationship is like with my sons, because when we're dating until I get to know you better, they come first.
Right.
Once I get to know you better and I know that you can lead me, then I ain't gonna say allow, but you can get in your proper place.
Right.
But that's awesome that they, have taken the time to build a relationship with him. And it's just, I'm sure it's the beginning stages of what the relationship will be. But I know that they're glad that their mother has somebody that can help build her up and them too. Yeah. Because that's very important for young men, especially because a lot of times a young man wants to find someone like his mom, right? And a woman wants to find somebody like her dad if she has any knowledge of who he is, right? So that's why we as parents need to stay in our place. Don't bad talk the father that's not in the picture. And the father needs to do the same exact thing. Yeah. I remember years ago, for Father's Day, I would get mad when people didn't tell me Happy Father's Day. But I'm like, you just the mama, man.
Right, you not they dad.
Exactly. And so, it took another man to tell me that. And then I started just listening to present fathers and what they were saying. I was like, you know what, that does make a whole lot of sense. So yeah, Marcus, he's definitely a good example, definitely a good role model. And again, I think you did a good job by allowing him to be your husband. Yeah. So what did you want to add? Anything else as far as the relationship with the boys and Mark and the whole family concept or anything? Did you want to add anything as it relates to that?
I mean, I guess as far as relationship-wise, with all of us together, it's having that communication and everybody knowing their place. Just like you said, as far as until we get to that point, my kids come first, and then you take your place. It's coming first, and I think that's a battle that will forever go on, where people will say like, oh, my kids come first regardless. My husband, anybody, my kids come first. But then when your kids all gone and leaving you, who you gonna have? Because you never put your husband first. Now your husband leaving you.
Exactly. And don't you know that happens a whole lot?
Oh yeah.
When it's time for the parents to become empty nesters, the husband and wife don't even know each other. Yeah. And it's almost, and I don't want to say it's too late, but it almost is.
It almost is, because you done been with this man for 20 years and you don't even know him.
Yeah, because you took the time to put your kids first. Yeah. And I had to learn that, I don't even know if I want to say this, but one thing about me, I'm just going to be transparent, right? So there was a time in my marriage that my husband and I were not together. And so I was dating somebody else, but I was still married, but I was dating somebody else. And he was actually 10 years older than me. And he taught me something. So we got up and we made breakfast. I made breakfast and I fed my kids first. But he told me, he's like, well, you're not supposed to feed your kids first. But in my mind, I'm like, you ain't my husband. You gonna get the leftovers. But if he was my husband, that's the way that it should have been done. I should have made the husband play first, because I've seen that debate before on social
all
media.
The time.
Well, if you got enough food, it's enough food for everybody, so you ain't even got to worry about it.
Everybody play.
Exactly.
Everybody play is ready at the same time. Exactly. How about we just
okay? Daddy might get a little bit more than the kids, but then it depends on how old the kids is too. If they ain't no little kids, they about big as daddy. All of them need the same amount of food.
And I tell you one thing, my grandma taught me: if that man ain't here and he there at work, making ends for that family, you better have that plate ready for him when he come in.
Come on here, Grandma. I know that's right. That's absolutely right.
So like even when Mark, he works overnight, he works, we have totally opposite shifts. Like I work 9 to 6 and he works 3 to 12.
Oh, wow.
And he's off Sunday and Monday and I'm off on the weekends.
Wow.
So we always passing by. But how we try to spend those moments together, so when he gets home, it takes him a couple of hours to wind down. So he might not be getting into bed till maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm passed out sleep because I had to get up in 3 hours. He would get up while I'm in the shower. He would fix me breakfast. And he would pack my lunch. and
sweet
do
is
every,
that?
pack my breakfast up. And if usually I pack my lunch at night and I put it in my bag and put it in the refrigerator. He'll get my bag out. He'll be like, I got your stuff ready. And he'll take my bag and he'll walk to the car. So you sure right. When you come home, your plate is in the microwave. I done cleaned up everything. I done wrapped everything up. And your food is there waiting for you.
So y'all take care of each other.
It's a partnership.
Absolutely.
It's a partnership. So it's not like, oh, you whipped or you got your... No. It's because I love him enough to take that time out. And he loves me enough where I've only been asleep for 5 hours, but he jumps up like somebody that started a fire because he hears me up. He's like, oh, I got to go downstairs and fix breakfast. Because he know me and my independent woman. If I get downstairs before him, I don't want you to fix my breakfast. Because I'm already downstairs. So I'm like... So he like, I gotta beat her down there because I know she's gonna fix it herself. So, but we've learned that about each other, and we work it out because in that one maybe 15, 20 minutes, that's the time that we have together because we're not gonna have any time for the rest of the day.
That's awesome.
So.
Awesome. Do you think? I'm a firm believer that absence makes the heart grow fonder. I really do believe that. Do you think that? Let's just say you guys work the same shift. Because what happens
we get tired of each other.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Because what it does is it gives you the opportunity to miss him. Yeah. It gives him the opportunity to miss you, especially starting in the beginning. So I'm sure as time change, as the relationship goes, you guys will probably come to the same, you'll probably be working the same shift. You'll get to spend some more time.
Yeah.
But it gives you the opportunity to do what you need to do in the evening time as it relates to taking care of your own personal stuff.
Yeah.
And him, the same thing pretty much before he goes to work. So I think it's a great opportunity, especially starting off, because sometimes it just depends on the people because some people may not get tired of each other. You know what I'm saying? Some people may always want to be in each other's company. So it just depends on the people. You know?
Yeah, and and it will only work depending on how strong your relationship is.
Absolutely, Kim.
So, it be times I'm like, God, I don't never see him, But then we make the most of it. Like, okay, we know Sundays is our day. He's like, don't plan anything. Like, we go to church. After church, we either going to eat, we're going to play, to watch the game or doing something. He was like, but that's our day. That's the only day out the week that we have together. Yeah. So, and it's like, okay, I have to compromise that, and I have to understand, like, okay, that's our day. So if somebody say, hey, you want to do something? Nope. And
if it ain't me and my husband together, no.
And honestly, even if my son because he has tournaments on the weekend, and sometimes it's on a Sunday, I'm like, if we can't go together, I can't go.
Wow. I got you because you got to get that time in because you don't want to get to the point where it's like, okay, we don't know each other now. We ain't spend enough time to get to know each other. So that's really good.
Because we have this opportunity now that we done been through not even together, but we're past the diaper stage. We're past all that stage. So now I'm like, this is our opportunity to go travel, to learn about each other and spend our time together because all my kids are grown. Yeah. So, and it's like, I was like, this is what I want. I didn't get time to do all that in my 20s and 30s because I was raising my kids. Yeah. So I'm like, now in my 40s, I'm like, let's go. Okay. Get that passport ready.
Okay, listen, we're going to be out here living our best lives. For real. I know that's so cliche, but it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? It is.
Because nobody's promised tomorrow.
I mean, COVID taught us that. COVID taught us we here today and gone today. Yep. So yeah, that's good. I'm glad things are moving along for you in the right direction because ultimately you deserve it. I told you that before. I definitely think if anybody deserves it, you deserve it. You've been through hell and back. Ooh. And
got a story and a book I can write about it.
And you need to go ahead and get started writing that book. How about that? But yeah. So Kim, let's talk about when you were in the process making the plans for your wedding. What was that like? And how long before when you guys got engaged, how long after that did you actually get married?
He proposed to me April 2nd and we got married September 3rd.
So what is that, like 6 months?
About 5-6 months.
Oh, wow. You guys weren't playing, huh?
Nope.
And I don't blame you.
Because we had already knew. I had my dress before he proposed to me.
Oh, my goodness, really?
I'm just saying.
I don't blame you.
Yep. So we had already knew. It was just finding the moment because we had I have no family here, just my boys.
Oh,
and his
really?
mom is here, and his brother's here, but a lot of his family is in Dallas. So,
Oh, wow.
you know, so he set it all up where we had a Zoom, and I saw my mom and my sisters all on the Zoom.
Wait a minute. So y'all was having a Zoom. You didn't have no. It was like, what was it? Just a family Zoom?
Yeah, yeah. But it was, well, I know. So what happened was we was having something at the house. You know, just a couple of friends over, and we was just chilling, you know,
really?
had food and was just relaxing. So it was a normal day for me. And so
wow.
then, and my boys was all there. So, you know, I was excited because I'm like, okay, we finally got, because, you know, I had two in school. So I'm like, finally got an opportunity for everybody to come. I think one of my boys, because he was in Kerrville, he wasn't here.
Okay.
But they were on Zoom. Nathan wasn't here either, now that I think about it.
Oh,
Because
wow.
it was all a blur.
Yeah, I bet it was.
But they were in school, but they were on the Zoom.
Okay.
But all my younger boys and everybody, they was there. And I'm sitting there at the table, and he come with this music, and I'm like, coming down the stairs, I'm like, what is he doing? And so he came down, but I knew the song that he was playing. I was like,
that song got sentimental value added to it, huh?
I was like, I already know what he about to do.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, you been doing this, I've been drinking. So I was all, and that was his mom's birthday.
Oh, really?
So we actually, that's what happened. Actually, that earlier that day, his mom came over for the first time to our house.
Okay.
And she came over, and I cooked dinner for her, and we gave her
wow.
a gift, and we had a really nice time in the daytime. And so when she left, then he was like, after party, and I'm like, okay. And so I saw my friends coming over. I'm like, what you told me you had something to do today. And so, you know, and still it was just like, this a Saturday afternoon. And so then all of that. Then they showed me the computer, the laptop, and I'm like, hey, everybody. I was like, it's my family. And I was like, so yeah, it was, it was nice. I enjoyed it. I
Awesome.
really enjoyed it. So, but yeah, 5 months.
So during that time frame, you planned for your wedding. You had some highs and some lows during that time. Some people walked out, turned their back on you, but in the end, it still worked out for your good. Yeah. So when you saw everything come together, how did that make you feel?
First of all, I tell you, my friend Rena, girl, she put up with me through the whole thing, from the beginning to the end, from the day from when we was dating to the day he proposed to the last day. She was by my side, and it was like, we wasn't even real close friends. Like, we knew each other.
She was pretty much a friend of your friend.
She was a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
I mean, she's
a
a
relative
family.
of a friend.
Yeah, there you go. And so it was just, I was like, I'm gonna need your help. And she was like, I got you.
That's awesome.
But she never went away. You know, even when she was having stuff dealing with her, you know, in her personal life, she was still there. And it was an emotional roller coaster. You know, I'm like, I was determined to lose a certain amount of weight before the wedding. That didn't happen. I was trying to stay on a low budget. And I mean, for what we paid, and I would disclose it, because if I'm not paying $10,000s for no wedding, I paid $4,000 for my whole wedding.
That's
for
awesome.
The whole wedding.
That is really, really good.
And I had said only 3, so I went over 1,000. But I'm like, because at the end of the day, and that's one of the things that get relationships is finances.
Yes.
Because I'm like, at the end of the day, after all this wedding is over, we still got car notes to pay, we got rent to pay, we got bills to pay.
We still got to live.
We still got to live, and I'm not taking out no loans. I'm not going into debt. I'm not doing anything. So any extras we have, that's what's going into the wedding.
Yeah.
Other than that, we gonna do some things ourselves. We gonna and we gonna work it out the best way we can. And we did, and it turned out really good. And it was just amazing at the end to see the final picture, because I'm like, everything that I had pictured in the match. Because at first I didn't want a wedding.
Wow. Okay.
Because I'm like, been there, done that. I said, and for me, I said, as long as I'm marrying you, we can go to City Hall and it just be us, and we just get married together with just you, me, and the boys. But I wanted a nice honeymoon.
Okay.
And so then my boys, one of my twins was like, well, Ma, you're not going to have a wedding? They was like, well, we wanted to be in a wedding. We ain't never been to a wedding before.
Oh.
So, of course, mama had to put her cape on. I was like, well, if they ain't never been to a wedding, the first wedding they going to be to is mine then.
That's awesome.
And so I went on with it. And so I was like, but I'm not a dressy type person. I don't want to sit there in a dress all day. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? And we both have a love for music.
Okay.
A passion. We can sit in a room in complete silence and just listen to music. And we don't have to communicate with each other, but our presence is there with each other. And the music is speaking for us.
Oh, wow.
Because I would put on something that would be directed to him and vice versa. And so we was like, let's do a 80s kickback.
Okay.
And so that's what our reception was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we dressed like not too fancy for the wedding, but for the reception.
Not too fancy. Okay.
Because I've seen some extravagant stuff.
Oh, well, yeah, definitely. But I mean, you did your version of fancy.
Yeah, that was about as fancy I can get. I was ready to take them shoes off. I was ready to throw everything out.
And you were beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
You're
Even
so
though
welcome.
I didn't lose those 20 pounds.
That's all right. That's all right. I mean, you didn't lose those 20 pounds, but you still had to get that dress altered because it was too big.
That's true.
So good job there. But you can keep going.
Yeah. But I mean, no, that was it. We took off all the fancy clothes and threw on our Adidas and our Kango hats, and we just had a ball. It was memorable from what I can remember. Because everything was kind of like a blur because everything was just going.
Does that.
It was. Our adrenaline was going so much. But to see, like, even to watch some of the videos and see some of the pictures and flash back, and it's like everything that I asked for was really, I really was able to get it.
That's awesome.
I was really able to get it. You know, like you said, some people walked away, some friendships was lost. And it wasn't so much because they didn't participate in my wedding or support in my wedding. It was more of I needed you as a friend and you wasn't there.
Yeah.
So that was the hard part.
I think sometimes people don't realize how emotional a wedding can be.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the planning for a wedding. And for me, I think when I find that my friends are getting married, there's a part of me that just wants to jump in and help wherever I can.
And I appreciate when you did.
Oh, no problem at all. No problem at all. And I guess because, I got married when I was 19 years old. My mama planned my wedding. So it wasn't necessarily something that I would have picked for myself.
Right.
But it's very important that you have your own say-so in your wedding and it be exactly the way that you want it to be. Because you're the one that has to have those memories for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's very, very important. So I'm glad that I was able to play the part that I played and helped as much as I could. To see you, when I saw you walk down that altar and you were up there with Mark, I went to Rena and I hugged her so tight. And I said, you did it, you did it. And I was about to start crying. She was about to start crying. But, she definitely did her role. She played the part so well. When I tell you, if anything was needed, Rena made sure it was done. If I needed... For my part that I was playing, whatever I needed, she knew where to tell me where to go get my stuff. So that's what a coordinator is all about.
That's what a friend is about.
Definitely.
That's what a friend is about.
I agree 100%. A friend, I mean, the way that she stood by your side the entire time, and then it didn't stop there because you guys are still friends. So just to pretty much hold your hand, and what she didn't do, which I really liked, was she didn't try to change your mind. When you wanted things to be a certain way, she's like, okay, we'll make that happen. Now, a coordinator wouldn't do that. They're going to tell you from the coordinator's perspective. Right. But she basically, whatever you wanted to happen, she made sure it happened.
And if I said I ain't wanted no more, she was like, okay.
Yeah, it was very, didn't try to be combative with you when it came to it. So that was so awesome as well. Yeah.
But I definitely appreciate y'all. Like, even though the emotional support, y'all just checking in and having that little group message and just saying like, hey, is everybody okay? How's everybody doing? And having those meetings / girl time.
And that's basically what it was, the girl bonding time for real.
Yeah, because we barely got stuff done.
I mean, I think the first time we didn't get nothing done, did we?
We was like, we'll do it the next time.
Exactly. It really was, because I'm really, I used to say that I'm an introvert. I don't say it anymore. But I think it really does my heart good to go and be around other women.
Yeah.
It's because what you lack, the next person has.
Yep.
And vice versa.
Yep.
So I think those were
And you just surround yourself with people who you can kind of bounce off of sometimes.
Absolutely positive people.
Yeah.
Now that's the important part.
Yep.
Because there's some people you bounce off of them, you gonna hurt yourself because of the negativity, right? The negativity. So Kim, as we get ready to wrap this up, were there any final words or any, like at the end, I always want to have my guests give some encouraging words. So I don't care what what encouraging words you give, but talk to the people and give them some encouraging words.
But what I would say for me to everyone else, or to those women who may be single or thinking that they done got too old or thinking that they would never find love, be patient. Sometimes it's there and you are not willing to let yourself be open and be vulnerable.
Ooh.
And you have to, you can't bring all those past things and expect a person to accept all those baggage. You're going to come with some bags, but that don't mean bring a whole suitcase and roller and everything else.
You don't need three people. You don't need three, just bring one.
So everybody's going to bring their baggage, but just be willing to accept and be understanding. And sometimes we got to change a little bit. And that's hard, especially at an older age. We have to be willing to change a little bit, because what we may have done in our 20s, we can't get away with in our 40s. And love is out there everywhere. I found Mark on Facebook.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of people think that the online dating is a whole bunch of perverts and all kind of stuff. And it is. It's a lot of them out there. But you have to know what you're willing to negotiate and what you're willing to say, no, I'm not. If I don't have these things, then it's nothing that can go on. But also, what you're asking for that person to bring to the table, make sure you got something to put on that table too.
That's awesome, Kim. Those were some really good words of advice. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
That's something that I can take for myself. Those are very encouraging words. So thank you for sharing that with my audience. That means a whole lot. Because a lot of times we're not always honest and transparent about stuff like that. Why, I don't know, but thank you so much for sharing that. So that's pretty much all I have today for First Class Convo. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, but thank you so much, Kim, for being my special guest today at the last moment. It really means more to me than you know.
No problem. Hopefully I get invited again.
Of course. Yes, you will. Signing out for First Class Convo, guys. See you later.